Hi, this is Firestarter, and this is a review of the S.I.C Kamen Rider OOO Putotyra combo. And this is the purple box. As you can see here, the name Kamen Rider OOO Putotyra combo, Bandai Tamashii Nations. And just giving you a quick look on what is in store when it comes to the packaging. Still the same, we have the medals here at the other side, and at the back poses for the combination. And then let's open the box and let's take a look on this figure. Out of the box is the S.I.C. that represents a more detailed feature than of its S.H. Figuarts counterpart. Everything you see here shouts S.I.C. The OOO's driver still works the same as other forms, and you can remove the core medals as you please. What weird is that the OOO scanner and the medal holder are plugged on the soft plastic armor and not on the belt strap. This means these things are loosely placed on a figure, and when being played with, falls off without any effort. To complete, you need a pair of Putotyra wings with a purple translucent plastic layer facing out. These are awfully tight to plug behind the figure, so it will take a while before these fully goes in. Since these pegs are on hinges, you can swing the flaps in different directions. However, these are not the main wings that brings out the power to the terror. There is another stage to this that I will discuss later. And this is just the stage 1 of the review, and let me go through the articulation points of this feature. And then we have a head and neck articulation here, and then we have some shoulder pads that go up and down, and then we have joints here on the elbows, double jointed elbows, and then we have a wrist joint, and then we have upper torso and waist, and then we have some leg articulation also, just like bending the knees, and then we have feet and claw or talon articulation. Okay, and the only thing that really bothers me a lot is that the OOO scanner and the metal holder is located on the armor and not on the belt, which means since this is in a soft mode, it keeps on falling off whenever you play with it. And then just to complete the form, like I mentioned earlier, is this first set of purple wings, and then these plug in at the back here. And since these are on hinges, they can move from left to right or up and down as you please, but you need really to push the pegs in order to hold it like this. And then, like I mentioned, these are on hinges and they have really nice detail underneath. That's the beauty of S.I.C. But again, one of the pegs or some of the latches here doesn't really hold that well, so that's my biggest problem about this form. And the greatest thing about this form is the detail. We have a lot of scales underneath, and then we have the armor in the old S.I.C goodness. And that's the first part of this review. Now let's go to the second set. Additional parts include the translucent metal chest piece and 5 extra hands, one of which you can hold 3 cell medals. What is cooler is the really detailed Medagaburyo. The axe mode allows the head to move up and down, but sadly you can't insert the cell medals inside. The bazooka mode is completed in 2 parts. First, connect the nozzle extension on both the barrel and on the handle. Next is moving the head, closing the mouth in the process. Downside is that these holding hands do not really support in handling the Medagaburyo properly, making the weapon wobbly at times. Also part of this set is an S.I.C stage that can hold the figure for in-flight positions. And this leads to the second part of the transformation. The second stage entails replacing certain parts. For example, replacing the wing stingers on the shoulders with a bigger set. Make sure these are pushed all the way down to secure on the figure. Next is a separate wing connector with a new pair of wings. This time, the purple mode is facing inwards instead of the first pair. Then separate the torso in order to release the belt and replace it with a similar belt but with the tail is now molded in. Last part is bringing back the OOO's driver, scanner, and metal back on the belt by plugging on the right places. That looks better and more correct than the default parts. Now this form is really what I like, and I just want to point this out for you. The Medagaburyo I keep on messing that name, is loose on the holding hand, so it keeps on wobbling as you play with it. And because this is quite heavy on the arms, it tends to loosen up this joint here on the elbows. And then at the back we have a tail that has different sections, so you can move that from left to right or twist it around. And that is one of those things that I like about this figure. The worst thing that I could think of about this actual S.I.C is that it doesn't really hold that well when it comes to the waist joint. And I think I messed it up for some reason. I didn't break any joints, but it keeps on losing its grip on each other. So one of the issues with the figure, probably it's my fault in a way. And because of the weight, some of the parts here, just like the OOO driver, keeps on falling off the figure, which is kind of annoying. But as a standalone figure without any possibilities, it really irritates me to know that it keeps on breaking into two, just like so. And that's all you need to know about the figure. The S.I.C Kamen Rider OOO Putotyra combo is one of the great looking figures that came out of the S.I.C line in a static position. But just like other deformed figures and the toy line, it has some minor issues that you have to deal with, one of which are the O scanner and the metal holder being a pain to work around with if you are using the default waist armor, and this will not make sense once you get your hands on it. The Medagaburyu sits loosely on the holding hands, taking away the fun on having one. Plugging the wings is somewhat a nuisance at first because how tight the mold is to plug on the connector, and finally the difficulty of replacing the armor piece with the tail divider. Positive sides are the great proportions, and for once the small fists do not bother me that much than other forms. The articulation is superb but not one of the best. Lastly, the overall execution is well thought of, if not for the default belt. And that is my review of the S.I.C Kamen Rider OOO Putotyra combo. If you want to know the possibilities for this figure, always check out the photos at the end of the video and subscribe to my blog for the full written review. This is Farstarter. Thank you very much for watching and keep it here for more toy reviews.